our break. We'll see you tomorrow around the horn. James, get that over here.
Thought those were pretty good arguments.
Pardon the interruption, but I'm Mike Wilbon. Tony, did you hear they discovered the lost city of Atlantis?
I'm Tony Kornheiser. Yeah, right. And there are little green men in Uranus. Come on, that's funny.
You know,
how funny is that?
You're like a 17-year-old.
Every time you say the word Uranus.
You're trying to get to a keg party.
It's funny.
And you're saying Uranus. Ha, 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 ha.
That's funny.
Grow up.
People love it. Welcome to PTI, boys and girls. In today's episode, we got a new quarterback for the Giants, the new BCS rankings, and a totally incoherent actress. But we begin today, as we have for the past 2 Mondays, with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Wilbon, you thought that going into Cleveland, after beating the Patriots and the Eagles on successive Sundays, this might be a letdown game for the Steelers. Well, despite Gerard Warren's threat to literally take off Ben Roethlisberger's head, the Steelers beat the Browns handily 24-10. Does this convince you, Wilbon, that the Steelers are the best team in the NFL?
Yeah. I watched
oh, boy, that's a ringing endorsement.
Well, that's a long way to go. I watched a lot of that game yesterday. I'll tell you this. Joey Porter tried to take off William Green's head. And here's when you knew it wasn't going to be a letdown. You knew it wasn't going to be a letdown when Gerard Warren ran his mouth. Because if the Steelers were going to have a letdown, they weren't going to after a guy threatens to take out a bounty on the quarterback. Cleveland acted stupid during the middle of the week, and they, by and large, played stupid yesterday.
And that's fine. And Pittsburgh is a better team than Cleveland, and a tougher team than Cleveland. And their defense was fabulous against Cleveland. But New England continues to win as well. Now, I know Pittsburgh beat New England, beat them at Pittsburgh.
But again, if we were ranking them like college teams, you have to put Pittsburgh number one. How about Jerome Bettis? I mean, look, Bettis was a guy who was you were making fun of him because he was going 3 carries for 3 yards and 3 touchdowns.
Was I the only one making fun of him?
No, only one on this set.
You didn't make it? Okay.
No, I didn't.
Okay.
And the bus now is racking up 100-yard games. This guy is solidifying his spot in the Hall of Fame.
Well, he was going to go to the Hall of Fame.
But it's
Here's
solid
what he
now.
is.
Rock
He's
solid.
the comeback player of the year in the same year. In the same year. That's right.
On our hot new game, over-under, I predicted Peyton Manning would go over Dan Marino's NFL record 48 touchdown passes. I think Manning will throw 53 touchdown passes. Tony, on the other hand, predicted Manning would not reach 48. Perhaps you noticed, Tony, Manning threw 5 touchdown passes yesterday in a 49-14 victory over Houston. That gives Peyton a total of 31 in 9 games and puts him on pace to reach 55, double nickel. Tony, you want to change your mind now?
I reserve the right to wait till the next over-under to change my mind. I'll say this about Peyton Manning. That commercial he's doing, where he goes, cook that meat, cut that meat. Whatever he says, he says, look at that accountant, I got you in my fantasy league. That is a great commercial. He now has more touchdown passes already this season than he had all of last season.
29.
And what was he last season?
Co-MVP.
That's of the entire league.
That's right.
So he's great, and I think this makes the Colts a legitimate contender in this regard. Let's look at them against a team like the Steelers. If Manning gets hot and gets up by 14 or 17 points, the Steelers don't have the kind of offense that comes back in a hurry like the Patriots might have.
But here's what happens, and we saw this in New England. Look, Peyton Manning's going to have to keep doing this because the defense is porous.
Yes.
Right? They got to keep scoring. The games will be closer than yesterday's. But great defenses don't allow that to happen. New England, not going to allow 5 touchdowns.
Sometimes you have a bad day. Here's the amazing statistic. 9 touchdown passes in the last 2 games. Yep. None of them to Marvin Harrison. None of them to Marvin Harrison.
Pretty good.
After beating Tampa Bay yesterday, the Atlanta Falcons improved their record to 7-2. They had that one awful game, giving up 56 points to Kansas City. But the standings say the Falcons are one of the elite teams in the NFC. Wilbon, do you think they truly belong that high on the NFC ladder?
Not only do I think they belong that high, I think they might belong at the top, on the top
rung.
Above
the Eagles.
Here's why, and I want to see what happens tonight. The Eagles have some trouble running because Brian Westbrook's been hurt and they have no backup. The defense has had some struggling times. But the Atlanta Falcons, Tony, that defense has been knocking people out. Sacked a mobile Brian Greasy 7 times yesterday. And they got the running game with T.J. Duckett and Warwick Dunn. There are a lot of weapons. I know Michael Vick means everything, but he has weapons.
Let's go to this. The running game that you say is so good.
Yep.
Who's the leading runner on the Atlanta Falcons?
Michael Vick.
Michael Vick. Now, he has had a bunch of games where he's probably in the 100 to 150-yard range as a passer.
He may rush for 1,000 yards.
As a passer, he's had those games. And yet, they win all the time because on the field, He is the most important guy to any team in the league. If anything happens
at least there
to them,
with Manning and Favre.
If anything happens, no, he's ahead.
You can say the same thing for Green Bay. You don't even know the Green Bay backup's name.
They've got Amon Green.
Stop.
They've got Amon Green.
Is a dependent player on somebody handing him the ball.
The Colts have Edgerrin James.
The Falcons
Who do the Falcons
are good.
have? Who do they have?
T.J. Duckett. I just told you, Warwick Dunn, a defense that knocks people out.
T.J.
You want to go against
Duckett.
Rod Coleman? They didn't even know who they got.
Of the Canton Duckets, I'm
If it's
sure.
not a quarterback, you're not paying attention. Our
Michael
favorite
Vick.
phrase here on PTI is Herm Edwards' phrase, we play to win the game. But clock mismanagement in the final minute yesterday forced the Jets to play to tie the game, which they did, only to lose to the Baltimore Ravens in overtime. It was a tough day for your boy Herm, Tone, who also had an option pass near halftime backfire.
Badly.
The question is this, Tony, which was worse for the Jets, the halfback option turned interception or the loss of 37 precious seconds without running a play in the final minute?
Is that a rhetorical question or are you serious?
I'm asking. He's getting ripped for both things.
Well,
which one's worse?
The first play, the halfback option that went awry, you have to, I think that's a good call. If you get up 21-0 on Baltimore, they cannot catch you. You go for the throat in that circumstance. I do not fault them for that at all.
I agree with you.
Now, in the last minute, that was awful.
Yeah.
You can't go from 55 seconds to 18 seconds without running a play. You can't do that.
And he had a couple of timeouts. I mean, look, he had, and people are going crazy about the end of the game where he kicks the field goal with 8 seconds left on third down. But he's got a quarterback in there that does not remember. Pennington was out of the game. He doesn't have his field general out there.
He's got Quincy Carter, who was hot at the beginning of the game.
That's right.
But he doesn't.
8 for 8.
But he may waste all 8 seconds. You never know. You have to kick that field goal. The crime is going from 55 seconds to 18.
How about Kyle Bowler, who I have ripped on this show because he did stink earlier. He played well yesterday. And if he plays well, how good are the Ravens?
They're a very good team.
You don't want to give Brian Billick any dap, do you? No, you don't want to do that.
No, I can do that.
All right.
He's won a Super Bowl, which is one more than you've won. So I'm going to give him
2
credit.
more than you.
Late last week, speaking of Super Bowls, Mike Martz, who didn't actually win one, he got in one, didn't actually win one. Mike Martz stopped calling his team stupid and told them the train was pulling out of the station and they could be on it or they could be off it. Of course, Wilbon, you made fun of him for that. Then they went out and beat Seattle for the second time this season, take over first place in the NFC West. Well, Wilbon, are you on the Mike Martz St. Louis train or are you off it?
I'm not on. I thought they'd win yesterday but not win the division. I've been clear about this. They got some tough games. At Buffalo, at Green Bay, at Carolina, and at Arizona, which suddenly looks better. Philly and the Jets. Seattle has 5 home games. You know who against?
How about Benny and the Jets?
Miami, Buffalo,
Benny and the Jets.
Dallas, Arizona's tougher, and Atlanta. 5 home games. I expect Seattle to go 5-2 and win the division.
Did Mike Martz fire up his team or not?
One game?
Yes or no?
Yes.
Yes, one game.
I expected him to. He better had. You're sucking up to Mike Martz. It's not going to look real good if they don't miss the playoffs.
You know what kind of car he drives?
He's a preemie
What kind of car does he drive?
I don't know.
He drives a yellow Corvette. Say you wouldn't want to drive a yellow Corvette.
Let me say this to you, my friend.
Yeah.
I don't ever
Let
want
me
to
tell you
drive
something, my friend.
a yellow anything, and not a yellow Corvette. Okay, I don't want to do that.
The guy
he did what he was
did
supposed
the Jim
to
Fossil
do yesterday.
Thing. He put the chips in a table, and he said we got to win now, and they won.
Anybody tell you this is a 16-week season?
Yes,
you ever heard that anywhere?
Yeah, but you know what? You know what's interesting about a 16-week season?
What?
You got to win the game you play.
All right,
and
so he won that game.
Thank you.
We're on a new week. This just in, Giants coach Tom Coughlin has named rookie Eli Manning as his starting quarterback for Sunday's game at home against the Falcons, replacing Kurt Warner. Tony, even when you were critical of Coughlin early in the season, you agreed with his call to start Warner, grizzled veteran that he is, over Manning. So, Tony, the Giants are 5-4. They've lost 2 straight to the Bears and the Cardinals. Do you think that is reason enough to go to the bullpen now?
I had a wardrobe malfunction just now.
Your left breast is out?
No, my microphone fell off.
5-4. You go to Eli Manning?
No, but I don't because Warner is 5-4 and threw no interceptions yesterday and has played pretty well. However, I don't fault him for going to Eli Manning right now. I'm going to tell you why.
Why?
Because you spent a lot of money on the kid, and maybe you want to see what he can do. I would put him in the second or third quarter.
You think he's influenced by any other thing going on in the league?
Ben Roethlisberger going 7-0, and your boy Craig Krenzel going 3-0. These are rookies doing well. So if you're on the fence and you say, Can I put him in? This is a week you can. He may be influenced by the
Here's what
opponent.
this is about.
He may be influenced by the opponent.
Atlanta Falcons, who have gone sack crazy. If they can get to Brian Greasy 7 times,
They can
how many
crush
times
Warner.
can they get to Kurt Warner,
14.
who was sacked 6 times yesterday?
14.
Yeah.
14.
So
Manning will be more
we understand
mobile.
this
Manning
move.
will be more mobile. We're taking a break. When we come back, the
Then
new
you get
BCS.
your tie straightened out in your microphone during the break.
Done! The new BCS standings are out. Will Oklahoma be the odd team out of the championship game? And later, what exactly has happened to Tom Brady's hair gel? And is he still impossibly handsome without it?
How
I
do you know
literally
he has
knocked the
gel?
mic off.
Pardon the interruption. Presented by Guinness Draft Stout. Drink responsibly. Brilliant.
The new BCS standings are out. USC is on top. Oklahoma retains the number 2 spot, and Auburn, despite crushing Georgia, remains number 3. We welcome in college football writer Tony Barnhart, the Atlanta Journal-Constitution, right now with the top 3. Do you think the BCS has it right?
I think they have it as right as they're going to get it, Tony. Everybody comes to me and says, why don't we have a playoff? Why don't we have a playoff? It's very simple. The presidents have told us we're not going to have a playoff. So in the absence of that, this is as good as it gets.
Okay. Are any of the top 3 teams going to lose?
No. Auburn's got Alabama, and they've got the SEC championship game. Oklahoma's got Baylor in the Big 12 championship game. USC's got Notre Dame and UCLA. I don't see any losses there.
All right, there is another team I want to introduce, Tony, Utah. If Utah stays undefeated, would a BCS Bowl put them up against the undefeated team that does not play in the national championship game? Would that be an attractive matchup?
Well, I think it would, Michael, but it depends on who gets left out. If Oklahoma gets left out, then I think there's a decent chance that Oklahoma would play Utah in the Fiesta Bowl, but the Sugar Bowl would have something to say about that because they lost Auburn to the Orange Bowl. So keep your eye on who gets left out, and that'll tell you if you get your matchup or not.
All right, we mentioned Oklahoma. They were still taking shots into the end zone while up 30-0 on Nebraska. Is this the way Bob Stoops has to go because of the structure, the way things are structured, Tony? Or was he out of line regardless, going for points up 30-0?
Well, unfortunately, the system means he's got to do it, Michael. If you look at it, they changed the formula last year, so the human polls are now 2/3 of the formula. And when the humans are making those kind of decisions, how you win, you get a lot of points for style points. I know Bob Stoops probably didn't want to do it, but he had to do it.
All right, let's go to Ohio State. Not that they're any sort of bowl picture, but the Maurice Clarett fallout continues. The NCAA is going to look into his latest allegations. But let me read you a quote, Tony, from Ohio State Athletic Director Andy Geiger, who said, quote, "I hope there is the most thorough investigation in the history of intercollegiate athletics because this is so bogus I can't even characterize it," close quote. I know you know Andy Geiger, and I do too, but does he seem a little overconfident to you, Tony?
Well, of course he's overconfident. I don't care if you're the amazing Kreskin. You have no idea how an NCAA investigation is going to pan out once they get started. Now, having said that, I wouldn't believe Maurice Clarett if he told me the sky was blue. But there's been enough corroborating evidence to open this thing up, and that's what they've got to do. They've got to completely reopen the investigation, let the sun shine in, and let's see what happens.
Is it possible that Ohio State could lose its national championship victory from a couple of seasons ago?
No, and here's the reason why, is because that national championship is not awarded or sanctioned by the NCAA. It's a mythical national championship that's awarded by the AP poll and the coaches poll, and so therefore what they giveth, they cannot taketh away.
Tony, in the last question, I want to go back to something you said at the beginning of this interview. If I understand you correctly, you are saying that the final game, the championship game, will leave Auburn out, that Oklahoma will play USC.
No, what I meant to say is that the system is the best system we've got, Tony. I think it's going to be very, very close. When I crunch the numbers today, I think Auburn's got to get a little more support from the human polls to close the gap on the computers. The computers really love Oklahoma. 5 of the 6 computers have Oklahoma number 1. What I'm saying is if I think Auburn can squeeze in there, but they got to get some more help from the human polls.
Thank you, Tony.
Thanks, Tony.
All right, guys.
We're taking a break. When we come back, a Pitt player drops the F-bomb on national TV. What should be done about it? And a piece of video you just have to see. Nicole Smith struggling. Woo! Woo!
Nicole Smith's always struggling with something, right?
She's really struggling with this.
Mail Time is brought to you by the men and women of the United States Postal Service.
We've reached that time of the program where we turn things over to you and your annoying emails, and I will get the first one.
Don't insult the email. What's
Here we
wrong
go.
with you? Using viewers here.
What did you guys think of Pittsburgh quarterback Tyler Palko dropping the F-bomb on NBC's postgame after Pitt's win over Notre Dame? Can we hear this, please?
We needed this win so badly over the great Notre Dame team. I'm so proud of our football team. Man, we're awesome.
Whoa.
Well, this is going to cause Michael Powell and
The
people
FCC.
of his ilk
Yeah.
to say we want a 52-minute delay on the post-game interview. As far as I'm concerned, they can do away with those kinds of post-game interviews which never tell you anything.
It's an articulation malfunction, as the FCC will say at this point. Look, the kid just threw 5 touchdown passes against Notre Dame. First time ever. Over 100 years of playing football. First time ever somebody threw 5 on Notre Dame.
What were the chances he was going to say anything that you were going to remember that you should actually be putting over the air?
I'm going to remember this.
Tony,
Bono did this in an awards ceremony.
Do they need these interviews in the moments after a game?
No,
they don't.
No, they do not need
Stop
them.
having them, and you won't have the F-bomb.
But
and
I
you'll
won't
need
call for
52-minute
censorship like you will.
delay. The Jaguars pulled out another close win yesterday in overtime. Are they any good or just plain lucky?
Luck is the residue of design, Branch Rickey said. They're 6-3, right?
Yes, they are.
So even if they're lucky, they got to be pretty good to be 6-3. They got to be pretty good to stay close enough in many games that one late score will get them to win. So I think they're pretty good. Pretty good.
How come Jacksonville has 2 quarterbacks? And by the way, Byron Leftwich missed that game yesterday, and his backup, Garrard, played. How come they got 2 guys and the Redskins get the wrong quarterback from Jacksonville and he can't play at all, apparently?
Look, these things happen.
But Jacksonville appears to be pretty good, and every time you can win a game like that, you keep Byron Leftwich on the sideline, which helps you down the road as you try to make the playoffs. When you play defense like that, you can run the ball with Fred Taylor. You're pretty good. You're good.
It doesn't last forever because Carolina was this last year, and they're 2-7
right now. You need it 1 year.
Barry Bonds won his 4th straight MVP today and 7th overall.
Wow.
That gives him more consecutive MVPs than anyone else has total MVPs in their career. He has to go down as the greatest player ever, right?
Well, he doesn't have to go down as the greatest ever, but it's a short list. The conversation consists to me of Babe Ruth, I guess Ty Cobb, certainly Willie Mays, Ted Williams, and Bonds. I leave out anybody?
No,
Lou
that's
Gehrig.
the outfield.
Lou Gehrig.
No, he's first base.
So, okay,
that's the outfield.
but that's the list. To me, it's still Ruth, because Ruth, before he was Babe Ruth, he was Greg Maddux. He was a great pitcher. He did both these things. No one's ever done
It's Ruth because of the way he separated himself from his peers, and Bonds is going to have. Now, Bonds has to be in a team photo. He's in a team photo. But what I'm saying is he still has that steroid cloud hanging over him. We have not definitively answered
we may never know. What happens if we never know?
We have not definitively answered
and we
that
may
yet.
never be able to definitively answer it. Tony, did you see your boy Tom Brady's hair in the interviews they ran with him last night? There's no way you still think he's impossibly handsome, is there?
I said he was impossibly handsome. I said he had an aura of mystery.
You're going to write a love sonnet to him next?
Well, as a matter of fact, how about this? Roses are red. You bring us joy. I don't quite get what you're doing to your hair, but you're still my boy. How's that?
That's pathetic. You can suck up to him anymore.
What's the wrong with his hair?
hair?
Yeah, we don't
You're
have
not going to
hair.
have anybody on this set
We have no
criticize
hair.
Tom Brady's hair, whatever it is. He's got a lot of it. He could go to the fro if he wanted to appeal to the brothers in New England. He could do that.
Hat head at that moment.
What does that mean?
But he's, you know,
when was the last time you had
scratching
hat head?
In 1967, I had the first recorded viewing of Hat Head. Fellas, what are we to make of Anna Nicole Smith's performance at the American Music Awards last night? Let's see this, please.
Let's see it now.
Let's see it.
And if I ever record an album, I want this guy to produce mine. Make me beautiful duets.
That's a problem. That's a problematic situation.
Freaking genius!
I'm glad she went with freaking genius as opposed to
that
the
could
other
be
one.
a Tyler Palko situation.
What? I didn't watch this.
Really?
But this
I'm
is
stunned.
Is this what happens at all the award shows? Was that if you had the delay that Michael Powell insists you must have, then why would they air that if you had the delay?
Well, she didn't say
What would be
anything
the point?
terrible. Here is her claim.
She appeared drunken.
Let's be
least.
serious. She was out of her mind. This is a gots-to-go situation.
Got to go
for
where?
Anna Nicole Smith.
To the next award show, which they will walk her up on stage to do the same thing.
She is famous, apparently, for 2 things. Plastic surgery and marrying a
Thought
rich
you were
old
going
man
a different
and
way.
inheriting hundreds of millions of dollars. Right? I mean, what else does she do?
Because
What else
people
does she
like
do?
you keep talking about it.
You know, she needs a breathalyzer in that circumstance right then and there. Enough email. Time for a break, but don't leave because we still have to weigh in on the reported discovery of Atlantis.
Yeah.
Wilbon will make his Monday night prediction.
Easy.
And then he will drool over tonight's tennis match between Serena Williams and Maria Sharapova.
Hand me that towel over there. Get this drool pool up.
Anna Nicole Smith. Up or down on Anna Nicole Smith, as we
She's
say?
struggling.
Struggling?
Pardon the interruption. Presented by Guinness Draft Stout. Drink responsibly. Brilliant. And in part by the men and women of the United States Postal Service. And Sears. What are you wishing for? You'll find it here. Sears. Good life. Great price.
Time to drop the hammer on Wilbon and the Happies. Happy 85th birthday, Judge Joseph Wapner. 5 minutes to Wapner. 5 minutes to Wapner. Gotta watch Wapner. Those are some of the lines Dustin Hoffman had in Rain Man describing his favorite show, The People's Court with Judge Wapner. Wilbon, I believe you have another birthday.
Yes, Greg Anthony's 37th birthday. He's a good child of Scorpio like me, the ESPN analyst, former Knick, and other NBA teams.
Happy anniversary to these fans at the University of Arizona. Last year on this day, you played keep away with stadium officials. Watch the kid in the blue sweatshirt. He hides the ball in his shirt, gets away from one security guard, flips to another fan, who tips it to the kid in the hat, who throws the ball clear out of the stadium. Fight the power, Wilbon.
You were still railing against authority like you're 22 with a big red afro. Grow up!
Happy trails, Mark Brunell. Mercifully, Brunell was pulled early in the second quarter of the Redskin game against Cincinnati yesterday. At that point, Brunell was 1 for 8, total of 6 yards passing.
And a
after a
pick.
dismal 9 games as a Redskin starter, fans were booing him after every bad pass.
You like just pounding this guy. As soon as he got to town, you said, Brunell can't do it, Brunell can't
Like you
do it.
pound Mart. It's time to find out we messed up, Stat Boy.
Well, Wilbon spent half the show sweating the Falcons' defense, number 22 in the league, and I remember them letting up 8 rushing touchdowns in a game.
Did they have 7 sacks or not?
Yes, they did
Thank
yesterday.
you very
Tony
much.
said maybe the Eli decision came because Coughlin was impressed with Krenzel. That I doubt. And Mart's a yellow
3-0.
Corvette. Who knew? How do you know
A friend
that?
of mine said that Martz and his wife both drive yellow Corvettes.
That's what we do.
Perhaps we're wrong. We'll find out. We go to the big finish. Yevgeny Kafelnikov retiring from tennis to play poker. Good move?
Has he played tennis the last 5 years? What has he won? An American scientist says he founded Atlantis. You buy that?
Way down below the ocean, where I want to
Stop
be,
with the 90
she may be.
year-old
Serena
lyrics.
Sharapova tonight, who you like?
I like me watching that match on the Deuce. Evander Holyfield got beat again. Will he hang it up now?
No, he's a punching bag. You should have hung it up 5 years ago.
not gonna hang it
Monday
up. Make
Night
some
Football,
money.
Eagles and Cowboys, who you got?
Trick question, right?
No.
Eagles, got the Eagles.
We're out of time.
My
Try to
boy
do better next time.
Donovan.
I'm Tony Korn.